Revelation 1737. From the 13th of December 1940. Willlessness. Lack of cognition. The inability of spiritual cognition is based on the human being's lack of will to take a stand on spiritual questions. Earthly problems can only be solved if the human being deals with them again and again and thus tries to penetrate them. Solving spiritual problems, however, requires the deepest immersion and the will to gain insight into them. Every answer first requires a question. The question in turn testifies to the desire for knowledge, and the desire for knowledge also then guarantees the power of knowledge, without which the human being is incapable of absorbing truth as such. But where a certain lack of will results in indifference, there an enlightenment would not be heeded at all, and therefore the strength certainly flows to the human being when it is desired, but it cannot be imparted to the human being who does not desire it. The spiritual currents want to be heeded, they don't flow to people indiscriminately, but only those who willingly open themselves will feel them, and only they will also recognize the blessing of spiritual enlightenment. But people who do not feel the urge within themselves to become knowledgeable remain completely unimpressed. They hear, and yet the words do not penetrate the heart. They are incapable of grasping the context of things. Their intellect does not absorb what is conveyed to the ears because their senses and aspirations still belong to the world and spiritual questions seem unimportant to them. Consequently, worldly-minded people will turn away from those who are spiritually active. They will harbor an aversion towards everything problematic, for it seems pointless and futile to them to delve into thoughts which, in their opinion, can never be solved such that no doubts remain. They are only ever left with conjectures which they believe little in, and since they lack the power of realization, but this cannot be given to them until they desire it themselves, it is also impossible to convince such people. And this is of greatest disadvantage for all these people, that spiritual truths cannot be brought to them, that they are always and forever groping in the dark, and their spiritual state cannot be illuminated because they lack the will to walk in the light. They strive after a will-o'-the-wisp, the glamour and splendor of the earthly world, and they are blinded by this will-o'-the-wisp. However, they overlook the gentle yet brightly shining light of realization, but it cannot be forcibly brought to them. Thus people will have to remain in spiritual darkness until they desire the light of enlightenment themselves, and it can now be offered to them. Amen.